Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, we simulated the first half of the season, and so far so good. 26, 12, and 3. There has been some underlying problems, which we aren't the best defensive team. Our PK has also been one of the worst in the league, so maybe in this episode we look to address our defensive core to make us a better defensive team for the second half of the season. But we are still doing really good in terms of offense and also winning games, so I think our team definitely has a good chance to make it back to playoffs. However, I definitely think defensive upgrades are probably important if we want to have a long run. So we might end up making some trades in this episode to upgrade our defensive core a little bit, because obviously it doesn't have the strongest overall ratings on it, so maybe we look to upgrade it. There's also a chance I might lean towards trading away Esteban Walter during this season. The main reason is he's kind of still really struggling. He's also been pretty bad defensively this season too, so if we do trade him, it would probably be to try and get our defensive core a little bit stronger, so there is a chance that Walter ends up getting moved out. Aside from that, though, our rest of our team has been pretty good. Marsh's having a good rookie season so far. Blundin's having a great year as a second liner. We've also been getting good production, even with Aiden Irving being a fourth line guy. He's on 15 goals, so I have been impressed with our depth scoring quite a bit, and also with some of our defensive points, like Vandermeer being on 30 points already is great. So I think we're still having another good season despite our goaltending not being the strongest goaltending combination. Nash has been good. Kalinin hasn't been that good of a starter, but I think he could be better in the playoffs, because sometimes there's goalies that are really bad in the regular season, but all of a sudden they're cheese in the playoffs where they're really, really good. So I'm just hoping for that. But yeah, I think we might end up looking at trading at least Walter to try and make this defensive core a bit stronger, because technically we do have some top four defensemen here, but they aren't the strongest top fours in the world. So if we could find ourselves another like 83 overall defender for that top four pairing, maybe move like somebody like DePenter or Backer down to the top six, that could end up helping our team out a little bit. So there is a chance I might make some upgrades there just to make us a better defensive team, and also so our penalty kill's a bit better, because our penalty kill has been struggling. I don't really know if it's because of these three-man units or what, but it just doesn't seem like it's been doing that well. So we got to find ways to maybe make it a bit stronger. So there is that, and I think we're ready to simulate a little bit more. There wasn't anything super interesting on the block in terms of defense yet, so I'm not in a rush to make a trade just yet, but let's simulate more of the season and see how our team does, and see if the block ends up changing a little bit. And maybe there'll be some better defenders out there for us to potentially bring in. So let's go to the end of January and see if we're still well above 500, which we probably should be, because like I said, our goal scoring has been great so far this season. We just got to keep on that path. We've lost back-to-back games to start this episode, but then we bounced back with 2, 3, not 4 wins, so lost in overtime. That's okay. But we are still playing pretty good in terms of offense, at least it looks like, because it looks like most of our wins are like 4 or more goals. Gustafsson is already back for the AHL. That's good news. And Holmquist is pretty much ready to jump into the NHL team. See, that is another thing, too. He's actually a sniper, too, just like Walter. I actually might be wanting to call him up at some point this season, as well as that replacement. Huh. That's interesting. We got to take out Bigris. It was. Gustafsson goes in there, I think. It was. Yeah, we also have like 3 defensive prospects that are all pretty close to being ready too. So there is guys I could call up, but at the same time, it doesn't make our defense stronger right now. We want to find somebody that could be a nice little rental maybe to help us out a bit. We are still losing a bit of more games than I'd like, but the fact that we're still first place in the division is nice. We have played still 5 more games than the Blues, who are in second place though. And then afterwards, it's like 3 more games on most other teams. So we are still playing a lot of games compared to other teams, but we are still winning when we need to, so that's good. All right, let's take a look and see if there's been any more defenders on the block. Ekholm's still well over point per game. Love to see that. He's on pace for maybe like 100 points this year, which is cool. Do I actually just want to go to propose trade and just take a look at teams and seeing what is out there for defenders? Like, which teams are bad and not going to make the playoffs? Boston is probably not going to make the playoffs based on this. We've made a lot of trades with them in the past. Do they have a defenseman that they've potentially move out? Keeping's only signed for 1 year as an $8.3 million cap hit. Pettinger's got 2 years left. He's probably still part of their future, even though he's only 25. Keeping's an interesting one. I remember him on Philadelphia. Yeah, he was a great DFD. Or solid DFD, at least. He's been in Boston the last few years. Has, I think, won some Stanley Cups at least, or maybe came close to it. But he does not fit any of our lineups, it looks like, unfortunately. So he would have been interesting, but it doesn't look like he's going to be a good fit here. Carolina, another team that hasn't been good. Let's see. 1 year left, Radulov. No extension in place either. How is Radulov? Andrei Radulov. 13 goals this season. That's rather impressive. Good goal scoring defenseman. Has had some good points in the past. Not a huge offensive guy, even though he is an offensive defenseman. Does look like he might fit our power play, but that's about it. I don't think he would help us out in the defensive end of things. There's also Yakupov, but he signed for 2 years. I'd prefer guys on 1 year deals just to make it a little bit easier for us. Dallas has been dreadful. Obviously, we took Sasha Kress from them last year. Do they have anything interesting? Gruel. Gruel's only 26. He's making 4.4, 81 overall. Minus 39 this season. Jeez. Whew, this guy's having a rough time. Yeah, Dallas has been pretty damn dreadful in these last few years. Minus 80 through 313 games. No playoff experience. He is a DFD, but I don't know if he's really exactly what I'm looking for or not. This is the top 4. I'm feeling like I want somebody higher than an 81, though, so let's see if there's anybody better than that. Detroit's kind of struggling this year. Maybe they have somebody. They did sign Louis Varr in the offseason on a 1 year deal, but I don't think he's really what I'm looking for. Kubos is signed for 3 years, which is a bit too much for me. Let's keep on looking. Edmonton isn't doing the best either. Let's see. They did sign Jacquezie in the offseason, so it'll be interesting to see what Jacquezie has done for them this season when we get to the end of the regular season. This guy is part of their future. These guys are signed too long term. Florida. Not doing too well either. Mills is signed for only 1 year, but they're like 79s. Like, there's not that much good defenders on these teams, it seems like. LA is also kind of struggling. Nobody on 1 year that I would take. What else we got here? Nashville's been really bad. Wow, that's actually kind of surprising. Nashville's literally 14, 30, and 5. And that's after the year that they took us out in the first round. I don't know why they've fallen off so hard, but damn. They must have had some retirements, I don't even know. They don't have a strong defensive core, really, so there's not really anybody I would bring in there. Former defenseman of ours, Lassie Rantanen, is now in Nashville, though, which is kind of funny. He's down to a 75 at 32. Wow. Losing morale and all that. He's bounced around a bit as of late. Huh. New Jersey, also struggling this year after... Oh, they brought back Goddard. Goddard went to free agency, and they decided to reacquire him again, I guess. Gave him $16.89 million for the next 4 years, and he's already on the trading block. Wow. And so far this year, 25 points in 44 games. Not on pace for a good year, by his standard at least. Wow. Well, that's kind of insane. Nobody I would bring in New Jersey either. They have a lot of guys locked up. What else we got here? Ottawa's okay. Looking for teams below 500 like the Sharks. Carter. 1 year left for Carter before he becomes a free agent. That would be expensive probably as hell. Is he a DFD? He is a DFD. Oh my goodness. 99 shot blockings and 93 defensive awareness. Wow. This guy actually would fit our coach too. This guy would cost us a ton probably. An absolute ton. There's also Weinrich who's good too. But is Weinrich... Weinrich is an offensive defenseman. Wow. Those guys are both pending free agents, and the Sharks haven't been the best. Sorry about that. My voice is just going a little bit sore. The Sharks did make the playoffs a number of years ago. Both those guys are listed as top 2 defensemen. I don't know if the Sharks would be willing to flip those guys, especially considering they're still not too far off being a 500 team. Kvappel's also good too, but he signed for multiple years. Huh. Carter's interesting, but I would have to put up like 4th or first round picks or something for him. Seattle, what do you got? What do you got? Kavanagh? No. Those guys are all signed for more than 1 year. Anybody else? Tampa's not doing too well. Finley's on 1 year. Actually, but he got a 6-year extension. Goddamn. But Roloff's only signed for 1 year. Roloff's only signed for the 1 year. That's actually kind of an interesting one. Pedro Roloff. Yeah, Pedro Roloff might be the guy I'm looking to get. He might be exactly what we're looking for. Is he a DFT, did I say? Yeah, he is. Pedro Roloff, I think, is the guy right now, at least. Because Skewin could easily replace him on that top pairing for them. So we'll come back to Pedro Roloff, but he looks like he's going to be the option. Yeah, I think he's going to be the one we go for here. So Pedro Roloff for our defensive core. He's a right-handed defenseman. We have our defense right now. Backer, Kress. I probably have to trade away. I'm trying to see who I would trade away here. I would probably get rid of... trying to think of what I want to do here. I would get rid of Couturier considering he's a right-handed defenseman. That gives them just a pure-on replacement if they want to. Who else do they have interest in? They do have interest in Walter. Is this the time to trade away Walter? Yeah, I think this is the time that we trade away Walter because Marsh has just completely jumped the gun. Blundin's already proving he's better than Walter. Walter, we don't even need to put Couturier into this deal almost. But I'm going to still do it. So what if I get Roloff? What else do you have on the block? Some prospects. Do you have any draft picks on the block? You do have like third rounders on the block from Minnesota. That's not bad. That might be actually able to work. Actually, that feels like it's still in our favor. I might be able to get like a second rounder for next year. Yeah, that actually might work. So we're going to try this. I do not want Walter here anymore. I'm kind of done with the Esteban Walter experience. Like I said, he's just not been that kind of guy. He's not also... He just doesn't do that well offensively on the second power play unit. And getting rid of him is probably for the best interest of the team. He'll get a fresh start somewhere else where he could score more goals, maybe get more power play time. He's not going to get more ice time being the type of player that he is right now. Like, it's definitely Blundin as that second line center, and it's our second line left winger, and it's definitely Marsh as that first line left winger. Walter would always be like a third line guy at this point. So we trade away him to upgrade into a defense with Roloff, who will come in for maybe 1 year, maybe multiple years, because maybe we'll have enough cap space to bring him back. Couturier also goes in this trade, who we signed in free agency, just to maybe fill out our defensive core. How has Couturier been with us so far? +9. He's been good defensively, don't get me wrong, but he is 34 years old and he isn't getting any younger for sure. We also get a free second round pick into this deal, so I think this is what we're going to do. I know it might seem weird to trade away Walter right now. To some of you, maybe not, but I think Walter's going to go to Tampa here, and this is going to be a deal. Boom. There's our deal. That's a good little trade. That's a good little trade. Esteban Walter off to Tampa Bay. He just wasn't impressing me that much, and Roloff solidifies our defense a lot. I like that. That's much better. That will definitely help us out for the rest of the season. In terms of players, I need to actually call up a player from the AHL, which I'm thinking is going to be probably Holmquist here. Yeah, it's probably going to be Holmquist. Holmquist will jump up, and he'll probably be on that third line where Walter originally was. I could put Bohms up there hypothetically too, but Bohms is a grinder. I could put Kang in the lineup, but I want to get Holmquist in, I think. Because he is actually a sniper too, technically. So we'll get Holmquist into that spot. And we also need to put him into the power play and stuff. I don't know why it's still glitched out. Oh, defense, that's right. So we will probably... What are we going to do here? We'll put Roloff right here. And I'll move him into the top 4. Backer doesn't fit that pairing well. Oh boy. I don't like that minus, to be honest. Is there any way to get rid of that minus completely? No. Yeah, there's nothing I could do about that. Trying to think. OFD, DFD. I'd probably still put Zikov down there. Might have to look for another top 6 defenseman. Or actually, I could see if Clarkson would fit better. Maybe Clarkson fits better next to Backer. Let's see. Clarkson, do you fit better? You do, okay. Clarkson, the enforcer defenseman, will be playing, I guess. Because of those trades. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good, okay. And then Holmquist will be here on this line. He doesn't play center. He actually plays center, but he has a 69 on faceoffs, which isn't good enough to me. Power play, does he get thrown into the second power play unit because of that? Yes, he does, which is what I want. Perfect. That's perfect. That's exactly what I think our team needed. That's exactly what our team needed. We get a much better defenseman to upgrade the defensive need, which has been kind of struggling this year. And I think that should help out our team in terms of the PK a lot too. So I'm actually pretty excited about that trade. It does suck to trade away Walter in a sense, just because I had like his play a lot when he was early in his career, but it wasn't useful at this stage anymore for our team to have somebody like him. Who's not on this power play? Sajak, Leclerc, Cutler. Who else could go on here? Scrimes, sure. I don't really care who goes on this unit. Maybe I should just go best lines in the AHL. That would actually be probably better. Boom. Who does that scratch? Spruev. That's okay. Alright, perfect. AHL set up, and NHL is ready to go as well. We'll see what Calle Holmquist could do. He was a second-round pick of ours 5 years ago at this point, which is kind of crazy. It's already been 5 seasons, but there we go. So we make our trade. Hopefully Walter didn't get thrown on the block right away by Tampa. Let's just make sure on that. No, he did not. Perfect. And he's literally their second-line left winger. Pretty much based on that, I think. It's between him and Hagelin. I honestly think they'd probably flip Hagelin at some point, but Walter should be getting some good ice time with their team and do a lot better with Tampa than he was with us. I actually did want to take a look at our penalty kill and make sure Roloff's on the PK as well, because that's what he's brought in for, to help out our PK and also our defensive core in a sense. So Roloff will be on the second unit with Backer. Okay, that works. Good little shutdown defenseman. I like it. I like it. That was a good little trade. We'll see what Walter ends up doing in Tampa the rest of the season, but some more overturn from our cup-winning rosters, but it had to happen. Frees up us some cap space as well going forward, unless we end up having to pay Roloff a lot of money in the offseason. But like I said, Roloff I think is a good little addition to at least solidify our defense a little bit longer while we wait for some of those prospects to develop a little bit longer. Let's go another month and see how we do with the addition of Roloff. Watch, he's going to simulate really badly or something, but who knows. Bulbrook's been injured. That's not great because he's having a good year. Next strain. Let's just go replace player. But our team's won 2 games since those acquisitions. Bulbrook's already back. Nice to see. So that means Kane will come back out. I think our team definitely could have a good run this year, but it depends on, obviously, how fast like Aiden Irving drops off still, because he's obviously playing great, but honestly, he could drop down to a 75 out of nowhere too. So, and Caden DePenta has been injured with a concussion out till March 11th. That kind of sucks, but oh well. At least I'll stop him from asking for too much money. 38, 18, and 5. Okay. At March the 1st, we're still in a good spot. We definitely should be a playoff team this season. 74 points now for Ekholm. We're only 1 point up on the Blues with 2 more games played, so I think we could definitely still fall back a little bit. But we are still probably like a top 10 team in the league at the moment, which is nice. Holy crap, the Atlantic Division is really, really weak. The Canadians are leading on 69 points. Every other division has a team on 80 points. Because like the Metro is way stronger right now than the Atlantic, which is kind of crazy. Huh, alright. Let me take a look at how Roloff has fit into the team so far and how Holmquist has also fit into the team since getting called up. Because that would be interesting to see that. Hey, look at that. Holmquist, no power play points so far, but he has 5 points in his first 9 career games. 1 goal, 4 assists. He's already shot 31 pucks though, which is kind of insane. 3.2%, so his pass bias is probably really high. But his only goal is a game winner. So it's good stuff so far from Holmquist. And then Roloff so far on the defensive side of things has been good too. 2 points in 9 games, not too bad. Plus 4. That's exactly what I was hoping for from him. Hopefully he's helping that PK out a little bit too over the last little bit. Alright, well we'll continue to simulate. I don't think we're going to make any more trades this season at this rate. Unless we wanted to upgrade our goaltending situation. But at this point, I don't know what type of goalie wins the Stanley Cup. So we'll just see what happens with Kalinin probably. Just because Bergqvist obviously won a cup here with us before. We've won like literally all of our cups, I'm pretty sure, have been with different goalies too. So maybe it's Kalinin's time to be that cup winning goalie. So don't think I'm going to make any more trades. But let's just take a look still and see what's on the block in case. But I don't think I'm going to make anything else. Goddard's still on the block. LA, Tampa, and Florida are interested in him. But he's getting paid that 16.89, which is hilarious. Is there anything else interesting? Hey, Mills is on the block, our former goalie. We traded him to Toronto as part of the Caden Wilson deal. Jacquezie was put on the block as well by Edmonton. That's hilarious that a lot of our former guys are all on the block at the same time. How is Arthur doing as a member of the Oilers? I wish I could take a look at stats from here. I think I actually have to go here and then go to the trade part just to see what he's doing. Oh, they actually have retained salary on him already? They already put retain 50%? Or they're prepared to retain? I don't even know. But he's having a good year in Edmonton. 58 points in 64 games. Just the Edmonton Oilers aren't a good team, so that's why he's on the block. Not bad. Not bad at all. So some of our former guys on the block. Dennis Palin as well is still on the block. Fisher just got dealt from Boston. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I would bring in, to be honest. So let's just roll with what we have. Let's roll with what we have. See if any of our former guys got dealt at the deadline, because that'll be interesting. So, was there any interesting trades? Like, did Jacquezie get dealt after only a little bit with Edmonton? Because I am kind of curious on that. Let's see. So, any former guys getting dealt here? Anybody at least that I recognize? Trying to see here. Gruel got dealt from Dallas to Colorado. I was looking at him, obviously, as a defenseman to bring in. Trying to see what else here. Vancouver ended up trading that goalie that was a starter. That's interesting. Not seeing any former guys yet that got dealt. There's Radulov getting dealt from Carolina. Looking at him too, at least not too long ago. Jimmy Scarlett already got dealt from Pittsburgh to Montreal. Okay. So Jimmy Scarlett off to Montreal, which I believe, did we trade Bergfist there? I honestly don't remember. If I did, that would be kind of interesting. Keeping got dealt from Boston as we were expecting, and it looks like nobody else got dealt. Actually, I want to take a look at Montreal here and see if Scarlett actually got dealt to the same team that Bergfist is on, because that'd be kind of interesting. I also want to see how Scarlett did in Pittsburgh. Let's see. So Scarlett is there on the top 6. He had 16 points in 62 games with Pittsburgh. Was an even 0 before they traded him. He was quite aggressive this year, apparently. But he got dealt. And no, he's not. It's not where Bergfist went. Actually, it is when Bergfist went. He was just injured recently, apparently. So Bergfist, another injury-riddled season. He has been playing very good this year. But who knows how good his playoff numbers will be. .913 save percentage, though. So Per Bergfist is having a good year in Montreal, but honestly, he's pending UFA, so it makes sense that he's trying to play good, because maybe he's just going to want to get paid like $15 million, kind of like Goddard just did. So let's continue to simulate the rest of the season, and we should be a playoff team at this rate unless we fall off a complete cliff at this point in time. So let's go to the 22nd, take it a little bit slower. Different Blunden on waivers. I was going to say, who is this Blunden dude? He's literally listed as a top 6 depth defenseman, 23 years old. Not really worth claiming, even if he might be related to the Blunden on our team. We'll decline that. Brain Marsh was never injured, which is great, because obviously we do not want that franchise guy getting hurt. DePenta's back from his injury. Nice. That's good. Marsh is still an 88. He was an 89 a little bit earlier, I think, though. Zykov could come back out. DePenta could come back in. Nice. I'm excited to see what Marsh's stats are like at the end of the year. But it looks like we are going to definitely be a playoff team. We're scoring like 5+ goals a game the last little while. So our offensive stats are going to look really nice, I think. We're 47, 19, and 5. His team is currently first place in the entire NHL. The team that's closest is the Rangers. We might have another President's Trophy, potentially, if we keep up on this pace. Which obviously we haven't won a President's Trophy in a while. And when we did win President's Trophies, we won a bunch of Stanley Cups. But obviously that might not happen necessarily this season. Okay, and there's another win. 50, 20, and 6. We got still another 5-6 games left. We have 106 points. We have not clinched the Western Conference yet. Rangers are first place in the league right now. The Rangers might end up winning the President's Trophy, which would be okay with me. Because sometimes that's a curse. Sometimes it's not. Boston, St. Louis. Lose and a win. Okay. Final few games. 3 games left. Vegas, Minnesota, Colorado. We win. Kalinen's pulled his groin right before the playoffs. And we're going to literally have to rely on Maximus Nash in the playoffs to begin with. Of course, we get slapped with an injury this late in the season, but at least Nash ain't too much worse. But Toby Phillips is going to have to come up as a 69 overall. Maybe I should have went for an extra goalie just in case, but I didn't think there was going to be an injury like that just out of nowhere. Poor Kalinin. His first full year as a starting goalie, and he's had multiple injuries. But Toby Phillips is going to come up, which means if the AHL team's in a playoff spot, Demetrius Lynch, who was just literally drafted not too long ago, will start for them in the postseason. Even our last two games, so 55, 21, and 6. And let's just get the AI team simulated up. One more game, I guess, for some teams as well. There you go. Now the season is completely done. We finished first in the Western Conference, I think, at least. 98 points for Ludwig Ekholm, so he didn't actually finish with 100 points. He was on pace for 100 points, but he definitely slowed down a little bit. But did we finish as the best team in the NHL? No. New York won the President's Trophy by 1 point. So we were the second best team in the entire NHL. That's a big response from a team that had a little bit of a rough year last year. Even with the overturn, even after getting rid of Jacuzzi and all that, our team completely turned it around. And getting rid of Bergqvist as well. Back to our winning ways. Love to see it. Hopefully the playoffs as well will be good. We were the best offensive team in the league at 4.18 goals for per game. So offense did not drop off even without Jacuzzi. Probably because of the franchise player though. Goals against, we did improve defensively a little bit. Not drastically. But we were kind of closer to the top 10 defensive teams in the league. So that's good. Our power play stayed the exact same, I think, since we last looked at 25%. So we finished in 4th place on the PP, which is nice. Our PK improved a little bit. Like, it was 77%. It went up to 77.3. It was still one of the worst ones in the league, though, which is kind of insane. So I don't know if that's going to be a problem in the playoffs. But if it is, that's not ideal. We were really good on home ice. 5 short-handed goals. Really solid on the road, too. 8-2-0 in our last 10 games. Okay. Now, the question is player stats. Ekholm obviously had 98 points. What did the other guys have? And holy crap, I already saw some crazy stat. So Ekholm on to 98 points plus 25. So great season from Ekholm. That might be a career high. No, it's not because to 111 points. I forgot about that. But still, another great year for Ekholm. He is getting closer. Actually, not closer to being a pending free agent. He's only 26 years old. His potential did drop from low league to medium 6, which is kind of weird. Bickle on 84 points. He's still fantastic as well, which is kind of surprised even with like Irving not being on his line or something like that. Vernarski 28 points plus 9. Good defensive stats from him. And Holmquist was fantastic since getting called up. 20 points in 30 games. 4 goals only. So he's not much of a sniper, even though he's got good shooting. But look at this, 16 assists. 88 shots on goal, only shot 4.5%, but 2 of his 4 goals were game winners, 5 power play points. Yeah, that's not too bad. Really glad that we called him up because he pretty much outperformed even Esteban Walter as a third-line guy. Left wing side of things, Blunden had 89 points and 53 goals. That's not even the stat line I was like saying, hey, that's crazy about. Taylor Blunden had a massive year, and he was on the second line. He wasn't even playing top line minutes. Power play had a lot of work for him, 12 power play goals. Blunden's contract is looking great. 53 goals. Woohoo! Let's go. Yeah, that's a great contract. But Brain Marsh, his first season, he had 45 goals and 80 points. Just under point per game. Almost a 50-goal rookie season. So, great year from Marsh. 4 short-handed points, too. 11 power play goals. Yeah, that's exactly what I want from Brain Marsh. I'm excited to see what he could do in the postseason as well. So, there's Marsh. Harrison had 42 points. Another good year for Matthew Harrison. At some point, I honestly might have to pay him some big bucks. 7 game-winning goals out of 17 goals he scored. He has been good. He has been really good. So 11, Matthew Harrison. Keith Bohms, 25 points as a grinder with plus 16. That's pretty damn solid. Kang didn't do much as a depth forward, but that's okay. What I was kind of insane to see is Timo Kavusari. I said he was going to break out having a lot of points because of his assisting. And look at this contract. Such a great contract. 90 points in 82 games. 84 assists. Only 6 goals. He's the exact type of player I need next to a good sniper. So Calvusari could end up playing next to the franchise guy at some point and setting him up a lot. I could see that. Bulbrook on 89 points as well is kind of insane. I didn't even witness that right now. 27 goals, 62 assists. Big year for Mark Bulbrook. Yeah, our top 6 forward prospects are actually doing better than I anticipated as well. Like, Bulbrook was acquired from a trade with Pittsburgh. And he's been a very, very solid player. Aiden Irving had 28 goals this year and 43 points, so obviously dropping off quite a bit, but 28 goals is as much as he scored last year in 40 less games. However, that ice time, way less. 10 less minutes per game, and he scored the same amount of goals. So if I would have had him on the top line, he could have probably still broke 40, 50 goals. But obviously the franchise guy kind of took over his spot. And Waters on 43 points. So based on the forward group, we had fantastic depth scoring. Our worst forward was Bohms with 25 points in 82 games, basically. From a defensive standpoint, Vandermeer had 59 points, so pretty much was on par with what he did in the first half, plus 24. Pretty good. 43 points this year from DePenta in 76 games, plus 18. He's just trying to get paid. This might be his last year here in Winnipeg, just because of his asking price. Crest, 30 points, plus 34. Big year from Sasha Crest. That's way better than last year. Way better than last year. The 14 goals is what I was expecting to see from him last year, but he didn't do that. Way better season so far. Backer, 22 points, plus 17. Zikov, 20 points in 58 games. As a 78, that's actually better than anticipated as well. Plus 16. Roloff, since getting acquired, was how good? Plus 15 in 30 games. Love to see that. Love to see it. 4 points. He did score a short-handed goal as well. So Pedro Roloff helped us out after acquiring him from Tampa Bay. Love to see that. Clarkson on 2 points in 30 games. Not bad. And a plus 7. Nice. Okay. And then the goalies, Kalinin was not doing too well still. An 888. Maximus Nash, though, looking pretty good. So hopefully he does good in the playoffs, considering Kalinin's injured. Phillips only played the one game, and he was dreadful. But who knows? Maybe he could be the cheese goalie in the playoffs. Do what like Aiden Tays did for me in my Anchorage series last year. Okay, in terms of the entire league, the best player was Peyton Eckford and Oscar Ekman with 117 points. Angelo Sanderson up there as well. All right, similar guys to normal. Most goals this season was Eckford with 61. So the Blues actually might be good this year. Because usually the Blues don't go too far in the playoffs. Because they have not made it past the second round in Eckford's entire career, and he's already 30. So, damn. Best defenseman this season. Lou Petrovic of the Calgary Flames. I don't even think I've ever seen him before. Maybe I have. I don't know. But he's not been in the NHL too long term. Glebov up there with 67 points. Budens with 64. Vertanen with 60 points and a plus 37. Might end up winning a Norris. Nylander up there. Vandermeer was up there in the top 10 at least. Love to see that. And at goalies, most wins again, Gabriel Dag. I think he won the Vezina last year, so it's kind of impressive that he's good back-to-back years. The best shutout goaltender was Mika Puka of the Columbus Blue Jackets with 7. Best save percentage by a starter, Per Bergqvist in Montreal. Interesting, okay. And goals against average by a starter was Per Bergqvist. I think Per Bergqvist might have won a Vezina in Montreal, which is not really a surprise. Like I said, he's a pending UFA. If they give him a contract extension already, I'd be impressed, but I think he's just trying to get paid big bucks in the offseason. That's my guess. Most goalie assists for fun, 6 assists from Christensen. Any goalie goals? No. Best rookie this season was Brian Marsh, of course, being a franchise guy, beating out Landon Eaton, who had 68 points, and Timofey Petrov. So Marsh, easily going to be your Calder winner this season, which is great to see. All right, so there is that. Looks like our AHL team, I think, also made the playoffs, because I think I saw a notification they were the first team in the West, too. Yeah, they were. Nice. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. Okay, so the question now is, who are we playing in the first round of the playoffs? Like I said, the next episode is the last pre-recorded episode. It's the Arizona Coyotes, who might be a cheese team. 39, 32, and 11. And 3-4-3 in their last 10 games. I know they have some good players on their teams, so they could be a cheese team. They could honestly be. Let's take a look at how they did during the regular season compared to us. And then we'll take a look at their roster, and then I'll be it for this episode. So, They were the worst team in the Central Division that made it. They finished with way less points than us, of course. They scored a good chunk of goals compared to some of the other teams in the playoffs, but not as much as us, of course. Their goals against was quite high. They did allow almost as much goals as they scored, so that hypothetically should give us a better chance. Their power play was actually really good, though, at 23.8% to our 25%, so pretty close on the PP. And their penalty kill was actually worse than ours. Ours was one of the worst in the league. Theirs was 70.7%, which might be the worst in the entire league at this point. They were good on home ice, but dreadful on the road. Yeah, I feel like they could be a cheese team, but at the same time, maybe our team is going to find ways to easily beat those teams that should be not in the playoffs to begin with. Like, let's take a look at what the Coyotes look like. I feel like they have some good players still, right? Because we played them somewhat recently, I think. Yeah. Like, this team not doing as good as, not doing that good during the regular season is kind of weird. Because this forward group is pretty damn nice. Domingue, Cummins, and Sparks. One of the best lines in the league. We got to shut that down again. Second line, Crowder, McQueen, and Bykov. Really good complementary players to have on that second line. Third line, Kennedy, Mikanov, and Perezhogin. And a fourth line of Buzek, Soderstrom, and Luongo. Yeah, we definitely played them in, like, the last 2 years, I think it was. Yeah, I'm kind of a little bit worried. Just because that forward group is a lot better. I know they were technically one of the better offensive teams in the division, but defense is where they struggled. So, defense, of course, still okay. They have some good pieces like Boma still, Sawyer's there, Yip, Caleb Raffle, who was brought in from Seattle a few years ago, Rob Pritchett, and Oliver Fritzmeier. Yeah, the defense isn't super strong, but it obviously could overstimulate in the playoffs. And in goaltending, they do not have the best goaltending combo. They have Sam Hicketts, who's a 79, and Brock Stepan, who's a 35-year-old, and an AHL starting goalie. Wow, okay. Depth, they have Keeping, Webb, and Banting. Yeah, I definitely think we should be able to beat them, but obviously containing the top guns is definitely what will separate us from beating them and not beating them. If we can't contain their top six, it's going to be definitely tough. If we can contain their top six, obviously, we have a good shot to go to the next round. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to the first round of the playoffs against the 39, 32, and 11 Arizona Coyotes, and look to find a way to get redemption for last year, considering last year, even though we didn't play the Coyotes, we had a really rough first round. Get redemption maybe on the Coyotes for the year prior to that, because I'm pretty sure they eliminated us in the last 2 years, and it would be nice, obviously, for our team to have a good playoff run, because this could be the last playoff run of Aiden Irving's career, and obviously sending him out as a Stanley Cup champion again would be a nice thing to do. Send anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.